Okay, so I'm going to call the meeting to order in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, and we'll do the roll call.
Sure. So we know Jim Kolagowski is absent. Vanessa Jones.
Here.
Chuck Martin.
Here.
John Hurling.
Here.
Mark Fortin.
Here.
Anne Marie Arlusky.
Here.
Tom Lewis is absent. He emailed in that he can't make it. And I believe that's it, right? Yep. Okay.
Okay, so we want to go ahead and address the minutes. We have to approve the June 2020 and the September 2020 minutes. Any questions, comments about those minutes?
No.
No.
Okay.
Move to approve the June 2020 minutes.
Do we get a second?
I second that.
Okay.
So moved. And same for the September minutes.
Don't we have to approve the June ones first?
I thought we just did. No?
We got a motion and a second, but we didn't actually vote.
Sorry. Thank you. Thanks, Mark. Oh, I'm a little rusty here. I miss Jim.
That's okay. No problem.
Okay, so let's take a vote to approve the June 2020 minutes. Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Abstained? Okay. Can we have a motion to approve the September 2020 minutes?
I'll move to approve the September 2020 minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed or abstained?
Yes, I'll abstain. I wasn't present.
Yeah, I'll abstain too.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we can go ahead and move to public comment. Do we have any members of the public who would like to speak?
I am showing 0 attendees, so no members of the public on right now.
Okay, let's go ahead and move to old business. We have the 45-minute pathways and trails, and then we also have the photo contest.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So I'll share my screen here, and we can start working on where we left off last time. That's good for everybody? Okay. Share, what am I sharing? This, I guess, right? Yeah. Okay. Yes. All right. Can everyone see on my screen?
You can see it.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hang on 1 second here. I have to enable editing so I can go. Okay. All righty. So let's see. Last time we left off, I think in Kingston, right? Yes. Okay. I just went too far. Here we go. All right. This is where we left off last time. Kingston, Rockingham connector, Route 27 to Laurel Avenue in Kingston. We have the proposed improvement there is a hiking path and markers through DOT and Trap Rock property that would connect Rockingham and Route 27.
Wow.
So I guess we'll just continue the way we've been doing it, which is basically a lot of these maps are small in here, so I can go online if you want to see, but this is from the actual plan itself. So this is where we're at, Kingston, Rockingham connector. What do you guys think about this?
It's so small, it's so hard to see exactly what we're talking about.
If I
All
just,
right.
there's like a zoom in on the tab on the left. I have it on my computer for WebEx. Do you have that, Anne Marie? The little plus
All right, on the bottom, yeah, hold on.
on the left. It's blurry, but I can make it bigger.
Actually, I've had a concern about these maps for some time. They're really hard to read when they're printed out, and they're also hard to read when you try to expand them. Could we go to the interactive township maps and maybe use those as a way to discuss these things?
Yeah.
These township maps are very, very good. I want to compliment the mayor and the IT people for those particular maps. I've been looking at them quite a lot, and also looking at neighboring townships as well. Franklin townships are by far the best. They're very precise, and you can really accurately judge what's going on. You can measure distances on them and all sorts of things.
Anybody else having trouble viewing these? Because
Yeah.
all I'm seeing is a big bunch of gray X's.
Me too.
That's all I have. That's all I have.
Me too.
Yeah, it turned gray.
Yeah, I am right now I'm switching now to get to the interactive map. So you might be seeing, let me share my whole screen. How about that? Share application, share my screen. Maybe, is that?
It's okay. As long as we know that we weren't supposed to see something, then.
Great.
No.
Yeah, I mean, this is all public domain. It's.
Where is can you guys see my screen right now or no?
Yes.
Yes.
The whole state.
Now, where the heck did my, now I want to go back because the block and lot was on there. Oh, okay, hang on. Bear with me for one second.
Take your time, Sarah. Take your time.
It's block 5.02, lot 119.03.
Thank you. 5.02?
5.02, lot 119.03. I'm reading this from the old trails plan.
Perfect. 119.03. Okay. We can definitely use the township's interactive mapping system. I wanted to show you guys this. This is the mapping system I always use that I'm always telling you about, the New Jersey Conservation Blueprint. So being that we had a block and lot, something easy I can give you an example on, I figured I'll show you this now. I think I might have shown it to you in the past, but I use this one sometimes too because it has a lot of the environmental features on here to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the property that we're talking about in the Pathways plan, this Kingston connecting Route 27 to Rockingham. So are you all familiar with this property?
No.
Not really.
All right.
It's the one that's in blue.
Yes, this one here in blue. It's owned by the Department of Transportation. And it's 93 acres, and the goal is to connect this, right, to, just went right in my head. The goal is to connect this to Rockingham, Route 27 to Rockingham. Let's see what we got.
So basically it goes around behind downtown Kingston. It cuts the corner.
Right.
So there's,
Is that near 518?
so there's, if you think about it, so you know Raymond Road and that intersection, there's a new daycare center right close to that light. Then there used to be, or there may still be, some kind of Asian themed like massage and meditation center or whatever right at the light. You know, it's the angled light that goes onto Raymond Road from Route 27, just north of Kingston downtown.
Yeah, I can see
Right.
it.
Oh, so here's Rockingham. See this little blue thing over here? This is Rockingham, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is Route 27, right? And then for more reference, this is Route 1 back here. So you got Route 1, Route
Right.
27 that the property is on. This is Laurel Ave over here. And here's that, I don't know, I'm probably going to not say this right, but it's Yinghua International School.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's pronounced
Kingston?
correctly. It's the old Franklin. It's an old Franklin landmark historical site that's now. It was part of the Franklin Public Schools. Now it's Yinghua has been given the lease to use it as a private
Right.
charter type school.
Mm-hmm.
And here's Raymond Road that Mark was just talking about. This is Raymond Road.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Is there a drawing tool on this particular type of map?
Drawing, like measuring it.
Well, a measurement tool would be, you'd probably be able to draw with it. I was wondering if you might be able to draw the route across this property that we're considering.
Yes, I think that I can.
Here, I'm going to draw it. I think what they
Mark,
wanted to
sorry,
do was something to go like through here and here, and I didn't know how they were going to get through this stuff, but then to get over here to the Rockingham Historic Site.
There you
Okay.
go.
Because if you note in the discussion in the PTP, they also indicate not just 5.02 with lot 119.03, but they also indicate block 5.02 with lot 164. We'd need an easement there as well. One belongs to Trap Rock, which is the 164, and 119.03 belongs to DOT. And by no means is my line an exact indicator of where we thought it would go.
Is that your line or Tara's line, the green line?
That's mine.
Mark did it.
Okay.
Yep.
But basically, they want to go through those two properties, those two lots, and somehow get over to Laurel Avenue, I guess, or I don't know, but I don't think so. Maybe to go behind and get over there somehow. I don't know what 502-171 is, though. I have no idea if that's still part of Trap Rock or not.
Let's see. 502.
I don't think so. I think that's a private farm, actually. I'm pretty sure that's a private farm with a riding. That's that riding stables that's advertised on Laurel Ave down there, I think.
Okay, hang on. I got to stop my annotating because I want to go back. Okay, here we go. So, I know why I'm in measurement here. 171, you said, where, here it is. Okay, I want my pointer on. Hang on. 502-171 is...
I think it's a private farm.
Yeah, it's a Q farm. It says, yes, owned by Santoro Altomonte.
Yeah, it's a private farm, so it wouldn't be that way. Somehow they were looking to get through 119.03 and 164, and I don't know if 157 or 167, I think it is down there. Again, I don't know who owns all those things, but the Rockingham Historic Site is over at that blue marker.
But this is near 518, correct?
It's on the other 518, way over at the top of the map, on the other side of the quarry.
Okay, so is this near? I know the Somerset County recently purchased some open space land.
No, on the other side. That's I think
so it's not near
block 8 stuff
Okay.
up there that you see.
Oh yeah.
This is on the other side. This is on the opposite side of the quarry.
Okay, thank you. I thought maybe it would have helped us with this this initiative.
Yeah. So that's the goal here, is to connect 27, which is the front of this property, probably through the property, over here to Rockingham.
It was simply to go in and mark a hiking path through those two properties to get over to somewhere near Rockingham, wherever there was access to Laurel Ave, I guess.
And Mark, do you know why that never happened?
Nope.
Is there anything stopping us from doing that?
None that I'm aware. Well, I guess yes, the acquisition of trail easements through the Trap Rock property, because lot 164 is still owned by Trap Rock, and also DOT property, which is 119.03. I don't think anything was ever done to pursue those easements. Not as far as I know. Nothing was ever mentioned in past.
So I just want to read this again, just to be hiking path and markers through DOT and Trap Rock property that would connect Rockingham and Route 27. Needed acquisition of trail easement through Trap Rock and through DOT. So they were proposing going through 164 and 119.03.
So what would be the purpose of connecting with 27? Would there be a parking lot there?
So that they were proposing going through like this. Can you all see my little pointer here? They were proposing going from 27 through here and through this one.
Now,
and then I get to Laurel Ave.
So Tara or Mark, is this part of the North-South Trail? Is that why this
No.
is?
No.
No.
There's no parking area or public access on 27 really. There is a little pull in there with like a bit of a chain gate kind of, or a couple of bollards and a chain gate kind of thing. I don't know what DEP intends to do with that property. I don't know why DEP owns it in the first place, if it was a waste site or some other place being treated. I have no idea.
Which one is the
DOT owns it, so transportation owns it. So it could have been for potential future improvements or just like a side work area for 27.
Yeah, it's 119. The one that's blue highlighted, right? Well, the
big one.
The bigger one of the two that's blue highlighted right now is the DOT owned property.
Okay.
This is DOT. And then this was the other one. This is Trap Rock property. So the thought is putting the trail through here to get it to Laurel Avenue. So you'd go from 27 through here to Laurel, and then you could find your way up to Rockingham.
Well, I mean, you could park at Flemmer, down the hill in the parking lot at Flemmer Preserve, walk up the Flemmer Preserve Trail to Rockingham, and then walk over to 27. But I'm not exactly sure what the purpose of the hike would be.
Neither am I. I don't know what the intent was at all. Frankly, this was spoken of very little in the discussions of the original plan.
Maybe the idea was to get people to take a hike and end over at Rockingham, like kind of visit Rockingham and then come back, even though it doesn't seem like something, that's the only
thing to do in Franklin.
Yeah.
Well, they would have to park somewhere in that lot on 27. I mean,
unless you park at Rockingham and come in through that way.
Well, that would, you could park at Rockingham, yes.
But then you'd be walking to 27, which would be kind of weird.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess the other option is you could punch something out to that parking lot across from Durga Mandir into that supermarket area where there's the
yeah.
If you're
and
going
a nice pond in there.
There's a pond right here on the property, so you'd have to come through and go around.
Right.
But yeah, that's a big pond.
Yeah.
Honestly, there was, and no disrespect meant, but I honestly recall zero discussion of this link, and it might have been something that had the eye of,
an individual.
Yes, and was added in for thought, and no major discussion was had, and it was kept.
So I guess now, Tara, we need to determine if this should remain on the plan or as a priority or something like that. Correct?
Yeah, if you want to keep it in as a priority, if you wanted to keep it in, take it out, or modify it, basically. You know, is it something that, you know, I just want to look and see, like, what the wetland situation is here. Sorry. Okay, yeah, so.
I would propose, since it doesn't involve really any township open space, my feeling is that it be removed as a priority. I don't think it's important. I don't think it goes anywhere interesting. I don't think it adds to getting to Rockingham in a better way.
The intersection of 27 crossover is a concern if we don't have, that's not, you know, improved for safety.
There is a crosswalk there and a light.
Okay.
But it's still, getting to the other side of that crosswalk doesn't put you any place particularly safer or interesting. It's not like there's a sidewalk on Raymond Road or anything. I'm not sure why you'd want to walk there. There's no sidewalk on 27. I think it was viewed as, I honestly don't know what it was viewed as. I recall zero discussion on this particular segment of trail.
I mean, I could see, like, you know, it's a kind of a neat idea to take advantage of, you know, space that DOT or Trap Rock might have that might be willing to give us access to, but it doesn't seem to, at this point, have, like, a huge advantages to us.
Yeah, and I think for all the things listed, rather than just, you know, to use a term, to vomit up a whole list of every possibility onto here, I think it would be better to focus on the things we think are priorities.
Anne Marie, are you seeing anything that we're not seeing?
No, when you look through the whole thing, where are you going? How are you going to get there? I love the idea of utilizing Rockingham, but I don't think this accomplishes that goal at all.
Yeah.
I agree.
If you have to walk on the road that Rockingham is on, there's no sidewalks there either. It's not.
It's a pretty broad shoulder.
It's a bike lane, I believe.
Yeah, it's a good sized shoulder, but it's certainly no sidewalk. I don't disagree with you. It's not ideal, and there have been there's been at least one bicyclist fatality there due to a car bicycle interaction along that Laurel Avenue area.
Yeah, not surprising.
All right, so let me minimize this for a second then here. All right, so the recommendation, if I'm correct, from the committee is to remove this as a recommendation from the plan?
Yes.
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 Okay, we don't need, remove from plan. Okay.
Is that indicating that we're removing Negri? Yeah, I don't think that's
no,
right.
It's above it. It's above. Okay. Yeah, I write out underneath each one like what the in this color.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
Thank you.
That's okay. All right. The next one, Negri Napodi Grasslands Preserve.
That's terrible. I don't think we should keep it. Just kidding.
A third of a mile handicap trail from parking lot to wetlands. Okay, completed in 20. So these are all completed. Okay. Let's scoot down here. Oh, that was it for that one. Okay.
Right, so it could be removed.
Right. So that will be removed then, unless you want to discuss anything for Negri in this spot.
Can I ask a question? It says for handicap trail from parking lot to wetlands. Is there not more to that trail that's handicap accessible? Is it only to the wetlands?
It's only to the bird blind.
Right.
Yeah, to the wetlands, the bird blind there.
To the bird blind, and I'm just trying to, but that area doesn't seem any different to me than the rest of the trail. What's different about it? What makes it handicap accessible? Do you know?
It has that whole red rock, those small little red rocks trail leading from the parking lot straight down to the bird blind. That makes it accessible. It's bouncy, but it makes it accessible for wheelchairs. The rest of it's all grass, which makes it very hard to move around on.
Mm-hmm. I guess I'm just curious, Tara, in learning more about, because this is something I know that Anne Marie and I have been asked about at like events, like at table events, about handicap accessible trails. and just, I'm curious to learn more about, you know, what we can make handicap accessible and how, you know, what, can grass also, right, can like a level grass be considered handicap accessible, or does it have to be the red crushed stone? Do you know?
It's not, grass is not, grass can't be considered handicap accessible, even for parking spaces. Grass, if you have like an overflow parking, if it's not a hard surface, so for trails, it can be that red stone or that rubber, the rubber material that's made from recycled tires that you see at playgrounds a lot, that's handicap accessible, or pavement. But gravel, grass, anything that has the potential to get a divot or become uneven is not considered standard handicap accessible. Maybe, I mean, Anne Marie, you might know better because I know you go to Negri a lot. Is this a trail, or is there another trail that maybe we might want to recommend, since it's visited so much, to be converted to handicap accessible material?
Well, there's certainly a lot of very flat trails that you could pave over with those small red rocks. If you wanted to expand the handicapped accessible arena, you certainly could do it. There's a lot of places there to do that. In fact, you could go all the way across the field where the big transformers are and go around that corner, which is another great birding site. That's very level. You could, if you wanted to do that and take that expense. I was thinking of more that we should probably look at enhancing that third of a mile trail down to that, because it's getting kind of worn out. And you're talking about divots and things. I think that we should probably take a look at refurbishing what we have more than expanding at this moment. I mean, unless money is unlimited.
Yeah, I was thinking of that myself, because the last time I was there, it was not as, it didn't look like the towpath, which is here in East Millstone, is much more level and packed down, and that was so.
Well, the natural geography has a little bit of a dip,
right.
But if we'd have to talk to people who use wheelchairs to see if that's still working for them, but it is easier to walk on that part.
Could I propose, as I've done before, that we propose to put in a handicap accessible observation platform near the kiosk, so that people in wheelchairs could mount the platform and view over the grasslands. So
you're saying right by the parking lot?
Right by the parking lot. I've also proposed having an observation tower in the back of Negri Poti, but that gets shot down pretty quick.
But we would have to change the reason. That would be, thinking about it. I mean, getting into Negri through those gates, how would a wheelchair do that now?
Right.
There's not a lot of space.
It's very narrow.
For ADA compliance, same with parking or trails or doorways. There's standard widths and surface types. So that's I would have to look up what the actual width is for a trail, but there are like standards in place for that we could just look up.
Yeah, just getting to that part would be, I think that's a challenge.
And a parking spot. So you would need a handicap accessible parking area as well that allows for room, for the door to open and take any equipment needed out. And that parking spot you could pave just the one parking spot. That's not a problem.
I think this requires further investigation for ADA compliance if we're going to say it's handicapped accessible.
I'm wondering if, what we should have in the plan is to improve the current and consider expanding, and adding more ADA.
I think the reason why they don't is to prevent vandalism, because it kind of controls the kind of vehicles and things that can get up into the trail.
Right.
But you can put like those ballasts, you know, you can do things.
So
Like I know that there's a need, you know, and like you were saying, Anne Marie, this is definitely because of the natural flatness of this trail. It definitely seems like it might be could be a good fit if we could get past the other obstacles.
I think it's worth exploring. And then there's the financial component, but exploring.
Well, I think if we could spend $1.5 million on baseball parks for a small set of teenage boys, this doesn't seem like.
All right, touche.
Well, yeah, it's all good stuff, but we know it's open space money, and if, you know, is it meeting the goals of open space has, certainly we would hope that this would be seen favorably by open space to consider putting the bill.
Have to look at the parking lot again as well, because that's becoming a challenge if we have people with wheelchairs.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you definitely, if you're going to have that, you definitely need at least one, maybe two parking spaces. I mean, I think probably one is fine because the amount of handicap parking that's required is based on the amount of parking spaces that are in the lot. And so I think one is probably what it's going to end up being, and maybe at a maximum of two.
Well, there is a marked space there already, but it's gravel.
Yeah, yeah.
It's and so the other issue with Negri that I would like to consider, but is which I said before, is putting a small parking lot on the Bennett Lane entrance to Negri.
Well, we talked about this before, Chuck. There's been some challenges with that, right? What were the challenges we talked about last time?
Well, I think the main challenge was getting somebody to agree to do it. It's basically you would be taking out a patch of red cedar that would be enough to maybe accommodate 4 cars, and fencing the area. Basically, just laying down a gravel lot. Clearing.
So that's not Melba's property, Chuck, is it?
No. This is township property.
Okay.
Melba's property is to the east of it, and if you enter from that trail, which actually is a nice entrance because it goes through a wooded area, and in the summer it's shady, and
right.
And it's got its own ecosystem in there that merges nicely, and it gets you to the back end of Negri.
Right. I've been through there. Yeah.
Chuck, now is there street parking near there at a crossroad or no?
I park on the street when I go in that way, and actually I go in there quite a bit. But you can also park on the neighborhood streets. There's a what is the name? Is that Terhune Drive or?
Okay, because I guess when we had the summer hike, I think that's where I parked. Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
in that entrance, you're right.
I mean, I actually sometimes I'll park I just pull alongside the ditch by the side of the fence there, depending on whether the ground's soft or not.
I guess what I'm wondering is there a way to kind of create parking or without like taking down the cedars, or almost like, I guess, or to make it look like an entryway, because I feel like when you're driving by, it doesn't feel like an entry there. And so even if we create the illusion of an entry and have people park on a side street, that might be valuable.
Mm-hmm.
Like putting like a sign up, like that makes it look like like what's that, or a gate, like a wooden gate that kind of makes it look like an entry point.
Like it's something like an opening.
Well, I mean, the trail sign is there. I mean, there are entrance signs to that part of it. they're not, you know, well, they're actually visible, but it could be better. No question about it.
I think the parking is the issue, because if you happen upon that, I don't think many people are going to park on the ditch, you know, to get in.
I usually park on the other side of the street, at least 20 feet away from the fire hydrant. That's across the road there. But you can and the road is actually widened at that point because it's the entryway to that subdivision on both sides, and so it's not I don't feel threatened by parking there on the street, but I'd feel a lot better if there was just a space to pull my car in.
So how many spaces would you want to have, and would you want to have a handicapped accessible one there?
Well, I was thinking 4. It wouldn't be handicap accessible because then you would have to, you know, rock in the path and so on. And that path gets soft and muddy.
Right.
I mean, the Public Works takes their mowers in that way. They do. They
go in through there.
Actually, they come in. They go around the perimeter of the woods and the power line, and they come in at that entrance next to where Melba's. It opens up into Melba's field.
Okay.
They take they mow the trail with those riding mowers that they seem to love.
They did a good job. The grass is very short. They're on top of it there.
Part of the trail is actually moss. It's a nice, soft, mossy trail.
Well, we have about 12 minutes left for this section. Is there any other thoughts about Negri for this?
Should I keep this parking lot recommendation in this section? And we can always come back to it too. Because Negri and 10 Mile are going to be a big discussion, I'm sure.
Yeah, let's move on a little.
That's funny. I was thinking that these two we'd breeze by because they're already done.
Right.
Mark, you know better than that.
All right, so we'll do this one. 10 Mile at Canal Road. Okay, proposed improvements. Ravine Trail along the northern border along Simonson Brook. Proposed improvements. All the double track trails located along field edges should permit equestrian use and have signage that clearly indicates where equestrians are permitted and where they are prohibited.
Mm.
So this section of Simonson Brook, is this what you were talking about, Chuck?
It doesn't seem to be quite the same, but see, now we have that newly acquired land that's next to the environmental center.
That's what we talked about last time, right?
That Simonson Brook flows through, yes. Simonson Brook flows through that land that we acquired from the DNR Greenway people this year.
Right.
And the path would start either at the environmental center Marsh Trail, which goes by that concrete viewing platform that looks over the marsh behind the caretaker's house, and goes along Simonson Brook and through that newly acquired land to connect with John Clyde Jr. Trail.
And Chuck, you've already started working on this Simonson Trail.
Oh, the trail's there. It's already done. It's just a matter of, we could, maybe make a few improvements to it, but it's done. It's been used. Max Devane sent me an email just last week saying that people are using it.
Oh, good.
But we need to market, and I've got orange marking tape along that trail that we're proposing. But we need real trail markers of some sort on it. Maybe even a sign on the John Clyde Jr. Trail saying "this way to the environmental center by way of the Simonson Brook Trail" or something like that.
That would really be good. Right where that pivot point is, where you can either go down to the Simonson or go up into John Clyde.
Yes,
That would be a really important place right there.
I think so. Just a nice sign there. There's a little hornbeam tree that I've got an orange marker on, several orange markers, I think. That would be the location.
Yeah, that's a good place.
What about the equestrian issues?
Yeah, what do you guys think? Because this recommendation really is focused around kind of the equestrian issue. What do you guys think about allowing all the double track trails along the field edges to be allowable for equestrian use, and also putting up signage that tells people that?
My understanding was that every trail there was available for equestrian use. Didn't see any reason why it shouldn't be. I think that if you look at the brochure or whatever about permitted trail uses, the 10-mile run is just listed as open to equestrian.
I wasn't sure that the John Clay Jr. was part of that.
I don't believe it was ever. I don't recall seeing anything in terms of literature posted or anything indicating that it's prohibited for them.
Yeah, I just don't. I'm trying to remember. I've talked to the one equestrian that rides her horse out there several times. That's Mrs. Terhune, and I think
What's Pat Leonard?
Would she take her horse into John Clyde? It's kind of a.
I don't think she would.
I would take a mule back there, but I wouldn't take a horse.
Funny you bring up the mule thing. Pat Leonard and Dominic, his last name different. They're a couple who are both on the Trails Committee several years ago.
I remember them. I remember them vividly.
Dominic and Pat ride there, or used to ride there quite regularly, and Dom rides a mule. And and they would. I don't think they had any trail that they wouldn't have considered taking a horse on. And in fact, I walked the John Clyde Junior Trail just a couple of weeks ago, and with my wife and another couple. And my wife, who rides, indicated that she thought it was a great trail and would love to take a horse on it.
Oh, well.
Hey, I wouldn't know.
If you look here, Grigstown. Yeah. No, Grigstown or John Clyde, I should say, equestrian is permitted on every trail there at John Clyde. Butler Road, all the trails, Franklin Park Natural Area, and Memorial Forest, equestrian.
Really don't need to do anything because it's already there. Or maybe just signage saying, go ahead, bring your horse.
Hey, Sarah, before you leave that, I wanted to ask a question. I brought this up before. I just wanted to bring it up. Like, it's confusing to me, considering that Bunker Hill and Franklin Park are connecting. It's really one big trail in my mind, how equestrian and bicycle would be allowed on one and not the other. I think that's something we definitely need to revisit.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's something we can definitely look at. If you think it's appropriate to have that on there as well, then.
Mark, do you have any idea why they wouldn't have had bikes and equestrian on Bunker Hill?
As compared to which one?
Franklin Park.
No. I know we had a lot of discussion about it with Grigstown that I lost a vote on, but I'm not bitter.
Meaning you wanted bicycles on Grigstown?
Yes.
I'm glad you lost that one, I have to tell you.
Well, I don't see why then. Why is it not okay at Grigstown, but it would be okay at Bunker Hill?
No comment from me on that one.
I don't see the trail types being so different that if we were to add it to Bunker Hill, I don't know why we wouldn't add it to Grigstown.
I guess my only thought would be for that would be like the whole native grassland for birders. Bikes might scare the birds, but I don't know.
Bikes would certainly scare the birders, and when those bikes come, there's a lot of them.
Yeah. All right, thank you, Tara. I just wanted to point that out.
You would also think that dogs on leash would then scare the birds.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I think the bikers, once they find our trails, they love our trails, and
that's not a bad thing. That puts lots of people on it who care about the trails.
Yeah. I think our trails are kind of short for bikes.
Bikes have their place. They don't have to be everywhere.
Want to have a nice balance for everybody.
This proposed ravine trail, well, this 10-mile greenway thing that we've been looking at, I don't understand this map at all.
Can we see that bigger, maybe?
Yeah, hang on one sec here. It's going to be difficult.
I mean, that map's meaningless to me. I can't make it.
The proposed ravine trail is actually nowhere near the brook thing that you've marked out, Chuck.
Well, is it on the other side of the road?
It's much closer to the parking lot and to Canal Road.
The parking lot at Canal Road.
Basically, if you leave the parking lot and let's say you're standing at the kiosk and you're facing towards the trail and away from Canal Road at the kiosk, right?
Right.
And you head to your left and you then tuck in right at the 90-degree bend in the driveway and you tuck onto the first mode trail there. They're proposing a trail that immediately cuts off to your left and goes into that section and goes somewhere. Right now, there's a little dead-end stub there right now, but it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it takes you down by where the llamas are, right?
Behind that llama area, although I haven't seen llamas there in a while. But
I saw one. They're alpacas. And there was one by its lonely little self the other day.
Okay, but it was to be behind there and then connect up to the next field where there is a trail.
So that actually, well, this red line goes, it also encompasses a lot of the grass areas and wooded areas in there. I mean, if you go to the right, I mean, the red line extends to the right as well as the left. Is that? Oh, I see. There's a faint yellow arrow.
That's right. The faint yellow arrow, I believe the only part they're talking about is an L-shaped trail piece, because the other bigger loop around the orangey section of field, that red loop there already, or orange loop already exists.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that.
A little ravine along the creek there that is in behind the alpacas. And I think it's basically something that probably looks very similar to what you mapped out further on up the same brook.
Right.
With the cape. It's just a different section.
I'm always in favor of trails that look down on a brook. I think that's pretty cool. You know, that's and you know, I like hiking on that stuff.
Okay. So I'm just trying to get, so here's John Clyde over here. Here's the Simonson Brook.
Right.
So I'm just trying to understand, one, where is this that we're talking about exactly? And two, Chuck, where is what you were working on roughly?
Okay. What I think we're talking about is the lettering Simonson Brook that you see.
Right.
I think the trail goes up to the M from the parking lot and then goes to the left and then comes back along the field edge.
Okay.
Is that the way you see it, Mark?
I just annotated it in green on the map there that Tara showed.
Okay.
I don't have an opportunity to change. Oh, maybe I do. Let me see if I can change my color. Hang on, I'll try it again. How's that?
There you go. Yep.
Oh, look at that.
That's a little easier to see.
And black.
Well, it's 'cause I
Okay.
guess it's green and red on top of one another. I didn't know how to get rid of the previous one.
All right, so for this ravine trail, do we even need to keep this in here? Because we're basically saying we've done it.
No,
No, this
Not
happens.
that.
does not exist.
Yeah, that's not there yet.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
No, the Simonson Brook Trail, Tara, the Simonson Brook Trail that I'm proposing would be in the woodland area to the right. So it says it's in the lower right-hand corner
here.
of your map. And that's where the John Clyde Jr. Trail starts or goes through.
Okay.
And then that would proceed up. Okay. Yibbity, yibbity, yibbity. That would proceed into that B 11.01, 1.01, I believe. That's the newly acquired property.
Right.
You were
Yeah.
calling it something Bunker Hill
Right.
Road, some number Bunker Hill Road.
Oh, 295 Bunker Hill. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the DNR Greenway Road. So it would proceed up Simonson Brook there. Can you switch to the street map or the one that's not wooded? Does it show the brook on that?
Hang on. Let me see.
I'm pointing at this like you people can see me point, right?
It's okay. It's okay. Hang on.
Oh, okay. All right. So basically, the Simonson Brook Trail. Yeah, if you can scroll to the left a bit. Okay. All right. B 11.01, 2.01 is, I believe, the Environmental Center, and 11.01, 1.01 is that newly acquired property. And the Simonson Brook Trail would basically just follow Simonson Brook all the way up to the Bunker Hill Road, basically.
Okay. All right.
And if we go through that,
drawing now here, yeah. Okay. All right. That makes sense.
So we
There you
could
go.
actually have a trail that parallels the brook for most of it.
for most of the brook, yeah.
To the brook.
What I put out there is very rough, and what I circled is the environmental center.
That's right.
But that
Looks like the
Chuck's flags go much closer to the brook, but I didn't feel like trying to trace that tightly. So,
yeah.
but essentially,
Okay.
the John Clyde Jr. Trail goes like there, and then it actually does something like this, I think. Like it does that section of woods, but I think
Well, it stays in the woods.
it stays in the wood, but it only goes between those two fields, really. I don't think it goes much further. It's only the two fields. Field one, it's this field, and this field is kind of where it goes in between.
That's correct. Yes.
Right, and then so this starts the new spot, the other X up there at the junction, starts the new spot that Chuck flagged out and runs it all the way up to. And then there's another trail. I'll try a different color here, although I don't know how much success I'll have. There's another trail that tucks in here and goes up eventually. I think it goes up something like that through the woods.
That's the. I think what you're drawing is part of that is the Environmental Center Blue Trail.
Yeah.
And that connects then to the Brown Trail,
right,
which leads back into
somewhere in here.
Into that field.
Yeah, somewhere in there it
Right.
changes to, it goes from being the environmental center to the
Right.
Brown Trail, and it's on this. I don't know if you can see this little. I'll go next to it. This little tiny bit in the trees here. That there's like a crevice or a line there. There is some kind of cut way in there that it ties to.
Well, that's the gravel road. That's the gravel service road.
Exactly, the gravel service road for the cell tower. It's just, I've only been on it a couple times, but that's kind of, this thing overlaps it very briefly right around the X.
Right.
So what do we need to decide right now? Because we're at time.
Good question.
I accidentally drew a line there, so I made it into a stick figure.
Okay.
So just ignore that. I went to touch my screen. I'm like, uh-oh, I messed up his map. Okay, all right. All we have to decide right now is
the pink section. That little, what is it? Fuchsia, something like that. I can't, a bright pink section. That's the only little bit that we were showing before on Tara's map, which is way down the bottom end. Way off to the right, that yellow trail inside the green is the John Clyde Jr. Trail. And then there's the brown trail that goes off up to the Environmental Center Trail way down at the bottom right corner of that square.
But the brown trail also, I've lost the map on my screen, but the brown trail also connects to the yellow trail complex, which goes back.
Yeah, it's down below.
And then there's the yellow trail area in there, which really needs work. It needs maintenance.
So so our proposal would be to keep this Simonson Brook, expand that was originally in this plan, expand it with the new properties that we've acquired, including the environmental center property, and then also consider improving the current existing trails at Briggstown, at John Clyde.
Okay, well, me.
Okay. I think Mark's just going to draw something on here just so you can see it. Yep.
The new trail is going to be over here. Way down there.
Okay.
See, way over to the left-hand side, the pink L. That's what's in the current PTP.
Right.
That's a suggestion here.
And I say we add on to that what Chuck's been proposing.
Sure, I like that idea, and I'd say we remove the proposed improvement to mark all the equestrian stuff because there's no place where they're permitted or not.
Right. Okay, let me write that in. Hang on here. Okay, so, all right, so we're going to say equestrian use is already permitted.
Throughout the entirety. There's no need to indicate where it is or isn't because the entire preserve is noted as being available for equestrian use.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, and then we're saying good with the proposed ravine trail and expanding it, right?
Yes, extending it past John Clyde Jr. Trail all the way to Bunker Hill Environmental Center.
Yeah, for those two lots.
Yep.
Okay. All righty. Perfect.
All right, we are over time now. We are 55 minutes. We are 10 minutes over.
If I may make one small request that, Tara, can you share your notes for what's already been written since I missed the previous meeting? I'd like to see what was.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I'll share this document, and underneath each item is the recommendations from the committee. So, yeah, and then when there's no more of the in red, that's where we left off.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be helpful because we've been working on this for quite a while.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, so going back to the agenda, the photo contest is the next thing on the agenda for old business.
Okay, yeah, just a quick update that all the photo contest winners has been, notified that they won, which is great. I sent you all the results of the photo contest, so thank you for submitting your votes. I also want to this, the way they have this menu here is so, hang on okay, so on the Franklin Township website, the photos are up under the 2020 Trails Photo Contest winners. So if you go in the album, it has all the photos, plus it has the name of the artist as well as the location, so you can scroll through there. I did send the photos with all of the photographer information to Bill Bowman as well, and he's working on putting it up on the Franklin Reporter. So that should be up soon, and we let the winners of the contest know that as well, that it would be in both places. And it will be put on Franklin TV as well.
Yay.
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it.
Really good idea. It's probably better than a hat.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I think they'll like it. I checked before we got on to see if it was up yet. It's not up yet, but it should be, shortly.
Great. So then we have new business, our trail reports. I'll get started. I'm confused. The Bunker Hill Natural Area sign, the big wooden sign that has like 3 or 4 boards, is completely missing.
Oh.
And it's brand new because I had reported the last one was so eroded, and it was replaced not that long ago, and now it's completely missing. It doesn't, do you what happened to it, Tara?
No, I have not heard that, and I'm not sure why that's gone, but I will try and find out what's going on.
It's the one that's like right on Bunker Hill Road, as you're turning into the parking lot.
Hopefully it's nothing nefarious and just Public Works doing something to it.
I mean, because it wasn't like somebody hit it, Mark, and there was like leftover parts of it or anything. It's just completely gone.
Hopefully
so
it's just
DPW
fixing
Public
it.
Works did something.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they're replacing it. I'll follow up with them and see what's going on.
If it wasn't so new, I wouldn't question it, but because it's so new, I wonder.
Okay, I'll look into it.
And then also just like the boards in the parking lot, there's still 4 that are busted.
Okay.
Other than that, I don't have much to report on the interior of the trails at this time.
Okay.
I can go for Griggstown if that's okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. So yeah, like I said, I was there just a couple weekends ago and walked the entire John Clyde Jr. and all the field trails, and they all were in excellent shape. I have to give credit there. Again, I would, continue to emphasize that transitioning to some alternative marker instead of the nailed metal markers would be better. I have sadly at that time we were not ready to go bushwhacking to go through the stuff that Chuck did already, but I intend to get back there and do so. But like I said, everything looks in great shape except for one thing, more than one thing. It's all the benches that are out there right now are in pretty bad shape. Some worse than others, of course, but really quite bad shape, coupled with the whole seat boards missing.
Okay.
There was just they look really rough.
I agree.
Really in tough shape.
I've been looking at those too.
Yeah. Nothing I'd want to sit on at this point.
Might be a dangerous
right
thing to do.
Some are purely impossible to sit on. Like I said, they're missing the baseboards. But others I would not be willing to be that brave. The good news is the fence was in good shape. The kiosk is in good shape except empty, more or less. There's not much info there at this time. Even the hunting information was sparse, it seemed. So.
Well, actually, the kiosk has been. I've been talking to Pat Dillon, who's been working on the kiosk for the past couple of weeks, and he's actually reframed it and painted it and reshingled and put a new roof on the kiosk.
Oh, that's fabulous. He's probably been doing that just since because I was there maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. So he's probably been doing it in the meantime.
Pat is the Eagle Scout advisor, but he's been doing this part of the project basically because he and 2 of his friends who are good friends of John Clyde want to adopt the trail and maintain the trails in that area.
That's fantastic.
So Pat alone and some of his friends have been working on a kiosk for the last couple of weeks.
Well, I hope it stays in good shape and we don't have to resort to the camera, for that, because that kiosk has been a frequent target of mischief.
You bet.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
All right,
benches
thank
is
you.
the only thing I'd report there, and the other, 2 or 3 weeks ago, it had been very dry, which is great. I suspect if I was to go back this weekend after the rain we had yesterday, it might be a little rougher in spots. But it's always been an issue there for some drainage along the top edge field trails.
Okay,
Done.
if I can just add one thing to the John Clyde portion, is that I have been in contact with our representative from New Jersey Fire Safety Service about the status of the prescribed burn, because we proposed it for John Clyde Preserve. He was actually called out to the fires out west, so he's been working on that. In the meantime, he did ask for me to get some GIS data to him that he can start working on it as soon as he gets back. But the application was received and it is being processed and looked at, and they are looking to start that plan. So I think it is going to happen. It's just a delay right now because a lot of the personnel were called out. So, but still moving forward.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. Thanks for the update.
Yeah, it's very good to hear. And you have, I presume, the township has the capability, and through you and the township, to get him all the GIS information he needs?
Yep. Yeah, I'm working with our IT department. I actually reached out to Audubon because they did our maintenance plan, and so I think they also have some shape files from GIS that they can share with us that would be helpful. So as soon as I get those, I'll send them as well.
Any other reports?
I have, fortunately, quite a few reports. On the Butler Road trails, I mentioned this to Tara. I was out on the Purple Trail in mid-September and came back and started writing an obscenity-laden email, which my spousal unit decided that I should probably wait and discuss. It's clear now to me that the damage on this trail is being done by Public Works. And Public Works now has gone into that trail with what must be at least a 3-ton front end loader, a 300-plus-year-old hickory fell in there. The tree was still alive, but they cut up this hickory and 2 other large trees, piled it up on the trail, and created a very large open area, in addition to creating a lot of damage along the trail from the parking lot to that particular spot. Tara, if you can let me show the picture.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd like to do that.
But Chuck, why? Okay. Why was this done? What was the purpose?
Well, apparently, and I've been trying to piece this together, and part of it comes from hunters I've been talking to who are actually there when this happened. Apparently the hickory fell across part of the trail, but I don't know. Can you see the photo that's on my screen?
Did you hit the share?
Okay, try it now.
Oh, I did not. Hang on.
Yeah, I did. Try it now. See if you can do it now.
Okay. Here. Oh, I got to share the file. Do I have to share the file, or is that?
When you go to the bottom there where it says share, do you have it up on your computer? Like, is it open?
It is open.
Okay, so when you click share, the files that you have open on your computer, a little thumbnail of them should come up, and you click on the one you want to share.
Okay. New whiteboard, share file. All I have is new whiteboard and share file.
when you click up on share, you don't see a bunch of like little, what do you call it? Thumbnails?
Well, I get a share file box. I can go that way.
Do share file box.
I'll do the share file
Yeah.
box. No, I'll have to go back to get it. So, I think this probably illustrates it best. All right,
There you go. Okay.
This is the trail. So basically, they piled up these logs and cleared out this open space. This open space is quite a bit larger than that. They didn't do anything to mark where the trail starts again beyond these logs. Actually, the trail is hidden behind this part of the log, but people have come in and they've been striking new trails trying to find the old trail. And the old trail is actually, there's a lot of old trail behind here. It actually goes down 10 Mile Run into the hardwood forest and whatever. There's another way to do this. And you know, it's they could have simply cut through the tree and preserved the trail, first of all. Second of all, if they're going to create this mess, they could have at least tried to clear the area so that people could pass through to what's left of the trail, which would be to the right of the log pile. Now there's trails to the left that go back about 100 feet, and then you got your ankle deep into a marsh. On the right, they just simply struck a new trail, and actually, if you cross some logs at that point, you would be on the trail. Last Sunday, I took out my battery-powered string trimmer and just tried to clean up the trail beyond that point. I cleaned it up pretty far in, but didn't get anywhere near the part where you get into the hardwoods. Then I ran out of string. And but as I was coming back, I ran into two families that were on the trail that just cleared that were, you know, wanting to hike back there. So anyway, it seems to me like Public Works ought to let us know what they're doing.
So, are you saying that a tree fell and then they chopped it up, and you're not, the way they chopped it up and where they left it is
this pile. The big log on the right is about a section that's about 20 feet up of this 300-year-old hickory tree.
But the problem is they didn't knock the tree down. The tree had fallen.
The tree had fallen. That's correct.
So it's a matter of how they chopped it up and where they left it. So what do you want to recommend to them at this point?
What I want to recommend is that when Public Works is going to do a major project on our trails and bring in heavy equipment, which destroys the trail in the process, maybe they should ask us first. We could go out and take a look at it and maybe say there's another way. I mean, literally, they could have just used a chainsaw and cut through the tree, let the tree lie. You know, that's what happens in the natural world.
Right, and then just cut the section.
Just cut the path through the tree and maintain the rest of the trail.
So maybe, Tara, we can give them that feedback of minimizing the impact on the trail and trying to, whenever possible, just cut through it. And if they feel like they have to do much more than that, if possible, ask for our input. Maybe we want to reroute the trail versus clear out so much of a big area.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I missed which trail this is.
This is the Purple Trail.
Purple Trail of what?
Butler Road.
Oh, Butler. Okay. Jeez.
That trail follows 10 Mile Run, and then veers off through groves of red cedar, and then gets into a hardwood forest at the back of it that's quite extensive. There's a lot of hunting that goes on back there, and it's actually a loop. So I would say that they literally blocked off and made unavailable probably a mile, maybe 1.2 miles of trail beyond that.
So is there any other requests or recommendations you have at this point for Public Works? Is there other work you need them to do to make the trail right again?
No, I think I think what I need to do is to go out and hammer some trail markers into these logs, and maybe take my trimmer and trim out the rest of the grass that's grown over these trails, and the multiflora rose, which they didn't do. Apparently, they have gone out there recently because apparently they got 21 hunting signs beyond this point, and so on.
So did they drive in? This section here, did they drive in from the little parking spot down?
They drove in from the parking area, creating a new path that was a large front end loader wide. They knocked down trees on both sides of the trail getting to that point. They actually crossed the 10-mile run tributary, damaging the bank, which I believe they actually went into private property when they were doing that of it, and then came around. And this area is actually very close to the area they came in before to clear a log jam in 10-mile run stream, which occurred earlier this year. And I guess they just feel like they got license to go in and do this kind of stuff, but it's not a good way to do it, in my opinion. So anyway, that's point one. Then I have also been going on Inman Park Trail because there's a Girl Scout troop that contacted me, and I forwarded this to Tara, who wanted to do a stream cleanup, and I was recommending that they go to Inman Park because there's no hunting in Inman Park to do the cleanup. And there we got another red trail. Of course, we don't have any red trail signs anymore, and that trail is very poorly marked. I mean, the entrances to the wooded part of the trails along the cliff sides, they're not marked at all. I mean, you would really have to know what you're looking for to find the trail in that area. And the red trail, the trail on the trail map is a loop that starts at a parking lot at the south end of the tennis courts, goes through an opening into the wooded trail, climbs the cliff, goes all the way north along the cliff, and then back down again at the north end to the baseball field. Neither of those entrances has any markings. I mean, there would be no way to know that that's really one of our trails.
So Chuck, you're saying we need to get markers for the Inman Trail? We need
to mark Inman Trail, right? I think for these entrances to the woodland areas, I think we need actual trail posts or trail marker signs there. The trail on the map is actually a loop that goes in that connects these two ends of the woodland trail across the front of the park, past the baseball field and the tennis courts and the basketball courts and whatever. I mean, there are no markers there as well.
Signage and markers just everywhere at Inman.
Everywhere in there.
Paint.
Okay.
We could do paint. We could do red paint.
And paint.
I think you could in some of the areas. Actually, the entrances to the wooded areas are shrubs, and they're not really amenable for painting. I think you're going to need like 4x4 posts or something with a marker on them for that.
Tara, is that something this keeps coming up? Is like the signs and also paint? Like, so even if we did a combination like Chuck's proposing, with the actual regular signs or and the different paint colors for the blazes. And Chuck, I know you mentioned like the 4x4s. I know those don't work well at Bunker Hill. I know at 6 Mile Run they have those like thin brown plastic like signposts
Right.
that have the trail markers. Those seem to be more durable and they don't fall over as much.
Yeah, I don't know. Those flexible markers, I think, in my opinion, they might be a little more amenable to vandalism in that area. Would be my concern.
Okay.
But, any marker is better than no marker.
Right.
So that's.
Okay. So what else? Anything else at Inman, or do you have another trail you wanted to?
I've got 4 more points.
All right. Ready? You get a minute each. You get a minute each.
Trail maps. I've been putting maps out on the trails for the last couple of weeks, and they're getting sucked up pretty fast. We're getting a lot of heavy trail usage, much more than we've had before. Greggstown in particular has very high activity on the weekends. The parking lot literally fills up in the afternoon, and there's a constant coming and going in that filled lot. I've been using maps that I had accumulated for other purposes here. I'm starting to run out of them, and so on.
My trails need maps too.
Right. Okay. I'm going to skip a couple of points. I've been talking to hunters, as I've been doing before, and hunters are have 2 complaints. Okay. One is that on the Butler Road trails, they don't know where they can hunt and where they cannot hunt. Prior to what I was told at that one meeting by one of the people in the Open Space Committee, hunters get the maps when they get their permits. Apparently, the hunters are telling me that they haven't gotten maps when they got their permits for the last number of years. And I told them to, why don't you go look at the township map, hunting map. If you go look at that, it's just not useful. There's no real good indication of what areas can be hunted and what's not. They're quite concerned about, they would like to be able to hunt in the Red Trail area of the Butler Road trails, and particularly on the south side of Butler Road, where the trail goes into a wooded area that ends at Sunset Avenue. And what you find at Sunset Avenue is that the hunting signs are posted, that there's hunting there, which would seem to indicate that hunters could hunt in that area. But other hunters have been told, no, you can't hunt in that area. So
we need clarity on the hunting areas there.
We certainly need to work on that. The other thing that hunters have been complaining to me about is that public weekday trail walkers are not wearing orange. And I actually encountered a woman today on the Purple Trail for Butler Road with her dog, and I just said, I'm on the Trails Committee, and I just wanted to say you really ought to wear orange here. I mean, we had a nice conversation. She wasn't mad that I was telling her anything, and I didn't try to make it confrontational. But the hunters in that area have told me they're not wearing orange. That Audubon trip at Negri, Anne-Marie, I went out and met Scott Barnes, and there was only one person from Audubon that had an orange vest. No one else had it, but I took a roll of orange tape out there and I gave it to Scott Barnes and said, your hikers, because this was I believe it was on a Wednesday.
That was on a Saturday.
That was on a Saturday. Okay. Anyway, I gave the tape to Scott. I mean, we had a nice conversation about it. Scott tore off about a 6-inch piece of tape and put it on his lapel pocket. I left him the roll for other people to use, but it didn't strike me as being a really over the top effort to wear orange and so on. So anyway, that's an issue. And also, I've been talking to Pat Dillon and Kara Holzer, the scout leaders, about different activities on the trails as well. And finally, I would like to let people know that Parks and Recreation contacted me a few weeks ago and wanted me to lead a family walk, trail walk out there. And I said I would do this under strict COVID restriction conditions. And we're going to have Sunday, a trail walk Sunday, October 25th on John Clyde grasslands, and a November 15th walk on Negri Napodi. As I pointed out to them, that is depending on whether the restrictions remain as they are, which all persons must wear masks. This is limited to a maximum of 4 families, maximum of 16 people total, and family pods must maintain a 6-foot distance minimum between other family pods. I also told them that, I'm not talking for the Trails Committee here, that, this is something, if we want to join in on this effort, this is something that we have to discuss and vote on. And if whatever you feel about it, we can discuss it, and it's fine. So, and I guess I will stop there. But I have a printed out list that I can send around to you as well of the other points. So, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Chuck.
I just want to jump in about Negri.
Yes.
I was there, been there several times, but only on Sundays because I don't trust hunters.
Right.
And the birding in the last weeks, especially last week, for those who are birders or know of birders, has been really remarkable.
Yes.
And the grass has been really kept very nicely trimmed and short, so it's fantastic for maneuvering around. And the parking lot, the Big Belly garbage disposal unit is at capacity. And it's getting a little dicey, but the trails were pretty clean. I only picked up 2 pieces of plastic for the whole thing, which was really remarkable.
Great.
And the fencing around that parking lot, there are some wooden boards that are down that need to be replaced. And there's one bench out there that's on a super reclining mode if you're so inclined to risk your life and back. But the others are okay.
Yeah. Anne Marie, I also got contacted by a world-class birder that there is a seed famine, wild seed famine in Canada, and we're expecting a lot of migrants that wouldn't even normally come down this far, like evening grosbeaks and so on. So
really, keep your eyes peeled, huh?
Yeah. So they're Negri may be a really hot spot for birding during this migration.
I mean, I was so impressed I was in Cape May twice this year so far, and I saw more at Negri than I did down there.
Right.
I mean, and I had the whole place to myself. I mean, it's amazing.
Great.
Any other trail reports? Okay. I know, so Chuck brought up also as far as doing hikes. Right now you're kind of just volunteering as a citizen to do a couple of hikes.
Right. This is through Parks and Recreation. They're advertising it on their new website along with all the other programs that they have. Unbeknownst to me, they've decided to charge $5 per family for it. But they have a sophisticated registration system, which I thought was probably useful that we ought to think about if we're going to.
So why don't we add that to our agenda for next time? We can talk about our own hikes if we want to start putting hikes back on our agenda.
Right.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm going to have to talk to the township manager about that just to see if we can have, a township run event like that, because as of right now, all the township meetings and stuff are still virtual. So I'll definitely try and get that info before the next meeting.
Okay. Well, like I say, it was Bo Burtis and Gloria Fidecaro contacted me about doing this. They wanted to schedule some outdoor events that would be COVID friendly. So I don't know what, actually Gloria and Bo might be the people to talk to, along with Bob Warnocker, whatever.
Okay. Tara, also, I don't know if we had a guest come, I think back in June, Ava Joseph, and she had told me that she had submitted her application to be on the Trails Committee, and I'd hate for that to get lost in the shuffle. I don't know if there's someone you could ask about that.
I'll ask about it, yeah, because it doesn't come right to me, but I will follow up and see if it's been in and what the status is.
And I also want, I've emailed you about this, but I don't know if you saw it, just to, maybe we could talk about it next time as well, as far as signage at DeMott Lane and Easton Avenue. We talked about this back when we had that shared open space trails meeting, just so people aren't aware about towpath access.
Right.
And we talked about, before we put a bridge at JFK and Easton, why not put some signs at DeMott and Easton where there is already access? And I don't know what we need to do in order to actually get a little trail sign there, but I'd love to make that happen.
Yeah.
Okay, I will talk to Bob and see what the process is for doing that. Absolutely.
Yeah, Vanessa, actually, I've been working with the DNR State Park with Patricia Calliser.
Sure.
And actually, there's two projects. I'm actually doing this through Canal Watch because it's a 503c organization. But one of the things we were doing was clearing the area at DeMott for kayak access. And in addition, we're working down a rocky hill on the towpath there to improve the dock so we can get kayaks and canoes in that area. There's a very nice large parking lot just south of the intersection there.
Okay.
On the Canal Kingston Highway. So, and yeah, I don't know whether that would be relevant to our trails or not, but the DeMott Lane certainly. And you might want to consider talking about kayak and canoe access along with it.
Great. Thanks. Reports from other committees. Anything from open space for us or anything else?
Open Spaces meeting on Tuesday. We're having a virtual meeting. Anything else to talk about? Not a whole lot at the last meeting, that we talked about. It was a pretty quick meeting, so I don't think we have anything major at this point. I kind of just updated them on the prescribed burn application, hunting. Yeah, nothing I have. I don't know. How about you, John?
There was nothing that I thought we needed to talk about. No.
Yeah, it was brief.
I don't know. I've noticed a lot of banter, chatter on social media in town about a desired more open space on South Middlebush Road. People just really talking about, oh, we don't want more buildings, we don't want more this or that, And I was just curious if at some point we could find out if there's any interest or opportunity for getting more open space of some of the land that's available on South Middlebush Road.
Okay.
Two huge developments are being considered now for those two big temples. That's going to take up a huge part of that land.
And I'm just curious, was that something that the township considered or not? And if not, why not? I'm not anti any of those things. Just wanting to know, like, we also know that we want more open space, and that road is a beautiful exhibit of our open space in town. And it'd be nice
Right.
to kind of, you know, keep as much of it as we could.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
that one temple I thought was shut down because, I mean, Ted Chase got into this, told us that there was a zoning problem, and it had to do with wetland. That they were trying to put it into a wetland. I don't know. Tara, do you know anything about that? Is it?
I have not been privy to that, but I can look into it and see what's going on for sure.
Weren't there two considerations for two different temples? One of them was like 80,000 square feet.
Holy cow!
I mean, they're huge. These are huge things that are going to really change the character of South Middlebush for sure. It doesn't. I mean, I'm just saying, it's just an issue.
Right. I know that went through zoning, and we're a subcommittee of open space. So I think, you know, as people who are advocating for open space and trails, not against other establishments and people trying to acquire the land appropriately, just, hey, our interest is trails and open space. What are we doing with that land? Are we trying to obtain it for the town? You know, I think that if we could find out more information, that would be great.
Okay, will do.
And public comment is the last thing on our agenda, and there's still no public, correct?
No, we have Bill Bowman is with us. I'm sorry, is it? I just went right. My brain is fried. Are you there?
Questions? Thank you.
No
Hi,
questions. He said.
Hello. How you doing, Anne-Marie?
Thank you for.
I'm doing good, Bill.
I'm glad to hear. Wash your hands, wear your mask.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Thank you for working with us on the trails photos. We
Oh, sure.
appreciate that.
No, not a problem. I'm trying to get those things up for you.
That would be
Yeah, no, that's
fantastic.
great.
Sure.
We appreciate it.
Sure.
All right. Well, thank you then.
Okay, bye-bye.
So can we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I hope we adjourn the meeting.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Anyone opposed? Abstain? Okay. Well, I thank you all very much for a great meeting.